Music does not survive. Yeah. It ain't no drag. Papa's got a brand new bag. We need live music. It's gonna jerk. Bring us together. Don't play him cheap. It's no, it's not shy. It's my potato. What this is supposed to be, I haven't got a clue. Gotta be an old cargo chute. Or several parachutes, one. Somebody sure didn't mess up. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Ooh, tore that truck up.
Charged with. The judge in Chauvin's murder trial said this afternoon Waters' comments could be grounds for an appeal, and he urged politicians to either keep quiet or respect the judicial process.
Just in tonight, the death of the medical examiner says he suffered from a stroke and then died. Sicknick lost his life after the January 6th insurrection at our nation's capital when rioters stormed the building. Last month, 2 men were charged with assaulting Officer Sicknick during the riot. The determination of a natural death means the medical examiner found that a medical condition alone caused his death and that it was not brought on by an injury. In Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis signed a...
Inside the car were killed. Investigators say they're, quote, 100% sure that no one was driving the Tesla that missed a curve on a residential road, hit a tree, and burst into flames. But they're still working to learn whether the electric car was operating on Tesla's autopilot driver assist system or on the company's full self-driving capability system.
Still ahead tonight, police say more
days, but local law enforcement say they're ready for the public's response right now. Peaceful protests and productive conversations by day, but by night, businesses were broken into. Police squad cars lit on fire. For weeks, the stark differences only fueled tensions in 2020 as fallout over George Floyd's death consumed the country. As jurors decide the fate of Derek Chauvin, the officer charged with Floyd's murder, law enforcement across the country prepares for the worst and hopes for the best.
We support people having the right to demonstrate, and we deal with some form of demonstration or protest in this city almost every day. And many of them go along very peacefully. And so we anticipate and we will continue to support peaceful protests inside the city of Atlanta. But we do also recognize that there are times that there becomes a level of civil unrest, and we are prepared for that as well.
Interim Atlanta Police Chief Rodney Bryant told reporters Monday the department learned from last year's violence and have already tapped into their resources.
Continuing to have conversations with our federal and state partners, both the Georgia State Patrol and the Atlanta Police Department and Fulton County Sheriff are in constant communication and stand ready, as we always do, to be prepared to serve the citizens of this city.
The chief says he knows there's a possibility of public
this took and how much work and how much protesting that they really had to do.
We're still fighting for the same thing a year later. Matthew Williams in DeKalb County lost his life. This month, a week ago, a teenage girl lost her life today. So we have to ask ourselves, as we continue to fight for justice, as we continue to say the name of George Floyd, as we continue to fight, when are things going to change? When are things actually going to change? Because nothing has changed since we were here a year ago. People are still dying every day. Every day people are still dying. Every day black men and women have to fear for their lives. Every single day.
The state capitol earlier today to explain all of this for us. Just over 3 weeks ago, state lawmakers inside the Capitol behind me passed SB 202, and then Governor Brian Kemp signed it into law the same day behind closed doors. Now, faith-based leaders say leading up to and after the passing of the new law, they attempted to talk with some of Georgia's largest businesses, wanting them to speak out against the law. Some did, some have remained silent, they say, such as Home Depot, and now they're calling for a boycott.
Be very clear that this piece of legislation passed not because of voter fraud, but because of voter turnout. Black and brown people came at strong numbers.
During a press conference this afternoon, faith-based leaders called SB 202 a voter suppression law, saying it will reduce the number of drop boxes for absentee ballots in some counties and changes weekend voting hours. And then they called for a boycott of Home Depot. A short time later, Governor Brian Kemp said he will keep supporting Home Depot.
They did not ask.
It's not clear if those supposed threats were made in opposition to it, but remember, you're always encouraged to contact police if you see something suspicious. Right now, Gwinnett police say they have not been notified of a direct threat to anyone in the county.
If you are afraid to go out at that point, that's okay.
That's one of millions of videos on TikTok encouraging people to stay home Friday, April 24th. This one says a group of men posted a video dubbing that date as the day to carry out unlawful sexual activity. The original post has not been confirmed, but that hasn't stopped people from posting ways they think people could protect themselves during a supposed National Rape Day. Facebook has flagged many of those posts as false information. I reached out to local law enforcement to get an idea of whether there's any validity to these threats set to take place at the end of the week.
It's not uncommon for the police department to get tips or have some of our investigators monitor social media and see threats that are distributed.
Gwinnett County Police Corporal Colin Flynn says the department receives tips about social media threats and constantly monitors trends, vetting each assertion.
The crimes that are committed are often crimes of opportunity.
This is a marathon, and we're in this thing for the long haul. And Home Depot needs to understand we ain't going nowhere.
A coalition of faith leaders representing more than 1,000 churches across Georgia gathered outside Home Depot in Decatur.
Is a great company with great products, and he says they did not ask to be in the middle of a political fight. In a news conference at the state capitol this afternoon, the governor said he stands with Home Depot and any other Georgia company being boycotted over the state's new election law. Governor Kemp says boycotts hurt hardworking Georgians, and Home Depot employs 30,000 people and operates 90 facilities in our state. Governor Kemp says he believes the uproar over Georgia's elections law is not because of what it does, but because of some wanting to mount support for H.R. 1, a bill introduced in Congress to standardize election laws across the country.
Whether you're here in Georgia or around the country, you need to understand what this is about. This is not about Georgia's election law. This is about a movement at the national level to nationalize elections and to have an unconstitutional takeover of state elections that were set up in the Constitution that way. And the people that are targeting them, including Stacey Abrams, cannot have it both ways, because we know the political pressure has been out there, and you're seeing the results of that right now.
H.R. 1 would require states to implement automatic voter registration and same-day voter registration.
When are y'all gonna fix this dag-burn sidewalk that these delivery trucks keep driving on? There's a parking lot over there. These things are what's damn doing it. And delivery trucks driving on the sidewalk what's breaking that thing. 673. Oh. No, 573. Fix the sidewalk. Music does not divide. Yeah. brand new bag. We need live music. It's gonna take. Bring us together. Don't play him cheap. It's no, we're not shy.